For our third and final game. We're going to get into it right now. Here is on the left side of the map in the yellow, but he is not yellow at all. He is a brave Zerg willing to go all in with Mass Lings if the opportunity arises. He is StarTales Curious.
And at the right side of the map, in red, we have Slayer's GanZi. The series is tied 1-1. This is going to be the last map. We are on Antigua Shipyard, and we have cross positions as well. So, yeah, I expect that at least this time the game is lasting a little bit longer than only 10 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully so. We keep saying, man, these guys are macro players, and then they keep just doing 10-minute games. So hopefully we'll see what these guys have in the mid game. It'd be really interesting to see how these guys matched up in a long game, but we'll see. Depends on what happens. Hopefully GanZi will decide to make a wall off this time and not open himself up to an attack by Curious.
We mentioned the overwhelming win ratio of GanZi earlier against Zerg. Curious has 55% win against Terran, 17 wins and 14 losses, so he's not as good as his opponent in this particular matchup. But one has already also to state that in the last matches against Terran, he was actually looking brilliant. He was able to win against MVP and against Pold in the Arena of Legends.
Yeah.
So that was really great, and I've mentioned already earlier that in his Code A match he took out the STC with 2-1 as well. So lately his results against Terran, which is brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. He has some losses on his record, but some of those were a longer ago, and lately he's been just doing really, really well. So here he is scouting with a drone. I love the drone scout from Curious, keeping an eye on what GanZi's up to. He's drone scouted every single game just to make sure he's not going to be falling to any, 2 racks pressure or anything like that. And Curious has in fact gone for hatchery first.
And he already squeezed in a couple of drones as well as the extractor before he started his pool. He knows that on a map like Antigua Shipyard it's very unlikely that his opponent is going to do that 2 barracks pressure that Motrap just mentioned. And of course, even if GanZi would have decided to do that, the distances between the bases are quite huge. Therefore, defending against something like that is a valid option. And there's the gas steal, and with only 2 Marines out on the field, there's no way he can kill that extractor in the process. He needs 3 Marines to do that. So right now, the Zerg player is fine. We'll cancel that extractor, rebuild it again to just make sure that the gas is blocked for a long time.
Yeah, and it's a pretty smart move because oftentimes, he can expect. He went in there, he saw 1 barracks, he saw no gas, and well, the extractor does go down there, but he saw no gas, so that generally means a 1 barracks expansion build. And after they get their command center up, Terrans do like to get a couple more racks and then get both gases in their main. So blocking 1 would help him slow down that tech of GanZi, but GanZi did kill it off, so he's going to be able to proceed as normal.
And now a little bit of pressure on the Terran player, walking with 4 Marines into the middle of the map, trying to take the Xelnaga watchtower. He's going to meet some of the Zerglings in only a few seconds. His command center will be up in a few. At the same time, the Zerg player getting metabolic boost. As soon as he had those 100 gas, he pulled off all his drones and set one of them now back to the extractor in order to get a little bit more gas. And at the same time, obviously, upgrade for the command center, trying to get that second mule and hunting down Zerglings on the map.
Yeah, especially if you see a few Marines heading across the map, you're like, I might need a little bit of gas, just in case he's going to put pressure on. I might need some Banelings pretty quickly. It's good to have a little gas in the bank, and GanZi is going to be producing Marines out of 3 barracks. He's making an add-on one of them to try and get his upgrades going. Curious is going to have speed, so he'll be okay with just Zerglings against small amounts of Marines, but he wants to be prepared just in case a lot of Marines start heading his direction. Here he goes, actually, with those Speedlings, going to catch those 4 Marines, and they are going to actually just die. And actually, I don't know if GanZi is even going to be able to hold off these Zerglings. He might lose some more workers. This may not kill him, but probably not going to kill him, but he's going to lose some SCVs in the process. Losing a mule.
He's losing actually 2 of them, which is a big deal in that early stage of the game. So there's a lot of minerals that they will never be able to harvest. And there's a Marauder, by the way. We have 2 Marauders on, another one is being built that will make 2 in total. And we have Combat Shield coming up. So this is kind of interesting. Usually you don't go for that many Marauders. We might expect I actually expect GanZi to push out at some point and try to have a go at it. The Marauders will be able to take out the Queens very, very fast, and there are no Spine Crawlers, so this time no Hellions, but a neat bio push by the red Terran player.
Yeah, he's going to have combat shields at the time that this attack lands. I'm not sure if he's going to go forward with this attack or if it's just a pressure build. As you're pointing out to me, Curious has taken his third. We saw that drone go out to take the third a moment ago.
Oh, hold that thought.
Zergling's running in.
Zergling's running into the economy line of GanZi once again, and there are a bunch of Marines trying to hold them off, but the mule dies once again, and now that push has been delayed. The Zerglings are going to die, but, well, GanZi might think twice about moving out again, because now he already revealed his hand. The Zerg player building that third base is also produced one Baneling nest and should be prepared against those incoming shenanigans from the Terran player.
Yep, he's got the tower in the middle. Oh, he needs to fall back. Curious is on hold position. He does finally fall back from that tower. But yes, Evo Chambers going up in the back, by the way, wants to get his Zergling upgrades so he can match the Marine upgrades. Yeah, so GanZi, he's not going ahead and attacking just yet, but he is preparing to really power up, getting reactors on his barracks, getting that third command center, which Curious scouted that third command center, actually, so he knows that GanZi is going to be taking a third before too long, and he's going to be able to safely drone up his own third.
What I like is that he's getting 2 evolution chambers and not taking 2 layers, so he is preparing for a lot of tier 1 play. He's preparing for those double upgrades and is not getting the layer tech. Instead, he's investing gas in Banelings, investing gas in upgrades as well. So we are roughly at the 10-minute mark, and there's no layer tech for the Zerg player at all. Instead, he's just making sure that he's able to deal with any incoming pushes. And GanZi now getting the upgrade for the siege tanks. Now the layer tech started for the Zerg player, and the creep spread is actually looking quite good as well for Curious. So, yeah, I like the play of both players right now. This is going to be a really interesting match.
Yeah, Curious generally does have really good creep spread. And now we have GanZi moving out with a decent force, though, and a couple Marauders in the mix as well as tanks, means that he's going to be well prepared for dealing with Banelings. Curious sees this attack moving out now with those Zerglings. Oh, and look at the army supply. Kevlar's pointing out to me, even though GanZi is only a little bit ahead in supply, his army is actually twice the size of Curious's, because Curious has more drones.
And there comes the Terran player trying to get rid of those rocks. Here are the Banelings! Oh, he doesn't pay attention at all to his army! Losing way too many Marines. There was no Marine split at all, but there are a bunch of them in the back who are still able to deal damage to the rocks. Here we go, trying to take them out, and 2 siege tanks being sieged up, but Curious should have enough time in order to prepare against that push.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Curious, at first I was like, what is he doing? He's sending Banelings in without any support Zerglings just to die, but they actually did land a lot, and that is something that one of the few flaws we've seen in GanZi's play. Hold that thought, Zerglings and Banelings coming in. He actually blows up some Banelings on the tank, but he doesn't finish it off, so the rest of the Banelings die to tank fire before hitting the other Marines, but it's just too many Zerglings for GanZi.
Exactly, and there's some reinforcements, a lot of Marines, and GanZi is still able to deal some pressure to his opponent. 97 supply against 100. Here we go, and there was a beautiful shot by one of GanZi's tanks, a beautiful shot, and he focused out the Banelings, killing all of them, so that was really well done, and the hatchery of Curious might fall right now. The siege tank is being annihilated. Here comes another bunch of Banelings. Beautiful Marine split this time, but will it be enough? It doesn't look like it. The Marines are going to die, and the hatchery of Curious, it's actually safe.
And this time there is not another wave of Terran units coming across the map to follow that one up. So Curious is fine for now. And at the end of the day, things pretty much even, actually. GanZi was ahead and lost a little bit more in the first engagement, so now they're about even in supply. And but here's the thing, GanZi has 2... Actually, he's just getting +2 weapons now. Maybe I misread. Okay, he's just now getting +2. So Curious is actually ahead in upgrades. He's getting 2-2 right now for his Zerglings.
And at the same time, we have a Spire being built for the Zerg player, and he's getting another base. He's actually trying to get the former gold base, and this is a new map version of Antigua. And as you can see in the middle of the map, there's a hatchery being built. The creep spread, once again, I have to mention it, is brilliant. +1 attack for the Flyers is actually being researched as well. 10 Mutalisks are being built, and that hatchery won't see the light of day. GanZi is already attacking at the same time. There is a Zergling run by at the third base. Wow, this is going to be brutal. All those SCVs are about to die. There's no way that GanZi is holding that off without severe losses.
No, he is taking severe losses indeed, but he's pushing across the map to try and deal severe losses to Curious. Curious has some Banelings morphing. He's got a lot of Banelings morphing, actually. And but GanZi has a really nice position at the bottom of that ramp. He's keeping those siege tanks tucked in a corner where he can use that. Oh, does not split his Marines. Wasn't paying attention. And that's something I was going to mention before. That is one of the few flaws that we see in GanZi's play in the past. Never mind. Hopefully you guys can still see.
Yeah, we are back.
Oh, I think we're back. Anyway, that's one of the few flaws we've seen in GanZi's play, is he is not the best at splitting against Banelings in the past. We've seen him do some pretty good job this game, but also fail at it time.
That is brutal. Curious. Sorry for interrupting you, Moltra.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
But, well, we had so many Zerglings and the Mutalisks running straight into the reinforcements of the Terran player, and that was something that Curious didn't expect at all. He was going for that run-by in order to put some pressure onto the third base of his opponent, and he lost a lot of Zerglings and some Mutalisks as well in the process. He's now trying to attack the economy line at the third base once more, and still 140 supply against 145, so things are even, but look at how many workers Curious was able to kill, actually.
Yeah, Curious has killed 25 of GanZi's SCVs. Now, actually, that's not too bad. GanZi's been able to produce SCVs out of 3 command centers. He's been able to replace them pretty well across the time span. So he's back up to 56 SCVs, and he's dropping mules, of course, as well. So he's not, his economy is still okay. But, oh, that drop gets taken out without any problem. But there's another drop going into the right side base of Curious at the same time.
Not being... Yeah, there we go.
Doesn't look like it's going to do anything either, though.
It's quite a solid defense there by the Zerg player.
Yeah, GanZi attacking 3 locations at once, and it looks like he's going to cancel the hatchery at the left, though.
Yep, there's another bunch of Marines canceling the hatchery. In the meantime, we have the big fight in the middle of the map, and once again, we have all those Banelings trying to connect with the Marines, doing a good job at that. Wow! Curious on fire right now.
This is the Curious that I remember, ladies and gentlemen. He was an absolute beast in Code A, just being everywhere on the map with Mutalisks, everywhere with Zerglings as well, and just macroing like a storm. And here he is today doing the same thing, dropping out these drops, taking them out so quickly, so many Banelings on the map. I don't know how he has the gas for all these Mutas and Banelings and upgrades, getting +1 Flyer Carapace now.
I'm actually amazed by his attention that he pays to the minimap. I mean, he was fighting in the middle of the map, and at the same time he was repelling 2 drops. So that was amazing, really well played. And GanZi, he's still in the game, but he is behind. And once again, that harassment at the third base. He's losing a lot of units, and there are not enough Marines to deal with that situation. All the Marines simply focusing the Marines and now taking out mules and SCVs alike. Wow. Curious is getting way more ahead right now, taking the fights as he sees them, and yep, there are not enough Marines now. Finally, with his main force, GanZi is able to defend against that push, but at what cost?
Oh, but he forces a cancel on this left side base again. Curious has been trying to get a 4th base for 5-7 minutes now and has not been able to get a 4th base up at all. So very interesting there, and it loses. Oh, but he knew that the Mutas were onto him, drops those Marines out preemptively. This is getting really interesting. Finally, a Thor is almost out for GanZi, though. I was going to say, GanZi, buddy, these Mutas are getting out of hand. It's time for a Thor. He is going to get a Thor in his army. It's going to be able to defend against these Mutalisks just clumping up and attacking.
And the Zerg player is about to be maxed out. We have the Terran on 2-2 upgrades regarding his Marines. There we are. A lot of Zerglings are actually about to die in the middle of the map. The Marines are being killed by the Mutalisks and, of course, the Banelings as well. 145 supply against 124. GanZi actually did really good in that encounter. He killed a lot of units of his opponent, and I'm not sure if those Mutalisks will be able to deal enough damage in the main base.
Yeah, unfortunately for Curious, He wanted to attack the Marines with the Banes and the tanks with the Lings, but he did vice versa instead, so he lost more than he needed to. And GanZi retained some of his army, but he's just doing so much damage in the main. And in the meantime, again, for like the 10th time this game, GanZi denies the 4th base of Curious. He just cannot keep a 4th base up, and he needs that 4th base to stay economically even with GanZi right now.
Curious is doing a really good job in the main base of his opponent. Now there's one Thor at the bottom trying to help out. There's another one. And Moltrap already mentioned that Thor is really, really important. The two of them are because there are just so many Mutalisks on the map. And as you could see in the last encounter, they really, really paid off. There were some small mistakes by Curious as well. But now the players are actually about even. And we have both of them on 3 bases. That's a situation you're not comfortable with if you're a Zerg player. In the middle of the map, another encounter coming up.
Wow, so many Zerglings coming in. The Banelings getting wasted by the tanks, though. Not many landing on the Marines. Will the Zerglings be enough to clean up, though? They are very well upgraded, but those Marines have +3 weapons in there, tearing through the Zerglings and the Mutalisks so quickly. The Mutalisks with only +1 armor just go down so quickly to +3 Marines. And does he have the +3 armor for his Zerglings, actually? Can we check on that?
No, he doesn't. He actually didn't. He doesn't have a hive.
Oh, he doesn't have a hive. There you go.
He doesn't have a hive, and that's basically due to his lack of eco. He only has 3 bases, and he didn't get that 4th base in order to get the hive upgrade as well. I think he would have loved to take the Broodlords too, but he just wasn't able to do so. He couldn't afford it, and now we have both of them even in supply, and actually the Terran player is pulling ahead, even though Curious is once again attacking that 3rd base and all those SCVs. We have the Terran player now pulling ahead in supply. Curious pulling up an effort, trying to actually just even the supply counts, but we have a 4th place now for GanZi. Oh man, that guy is doing so well considering how annoying Curious was with those run-bys.
Yeah, and I think that might be the tipping point. Even though Curious has been doing such good harassment, GanZi has taken a 4th base, and he has consistently denied the 4th base from Curious. Curious is mined out in his main and his natural. He's only barely mining in his 3rd base. There's not much minerals left there. Here he is coming in with a lot of Mutalisks, doing some major damage to the supply depots, but not really damaging the economy, which is what he really needs to do right now. Here he goes, damaging some economy. Oh! We just missed Banelings rolling through the entire supply line at the 4th. I might be wrong about that. GanZi.
And look at the 3rd. He lost so many. He lost 62 works in total. So right now in that encounter, he lost about 30 SCVs.
Wow, GanZi down to only 37 SCVs right now, which is actually okay because he's mined out in his main and his natural, so he's going to be able to move those SCVs to his 3rd and his 4th. But, oh, another drop getting taken out. Finally, Curious able to stop one of his bases from being denied at the sort of 5 o'clock position. That base is going up. If we can get that mining, that would be huge.
I actually don't think so, though, to be honest. It has been scouted, and there are Marines and tanks on their way. In the meantime, we have in the main base the one command center being killed by the Mutalisks of Curious, doing a good job attacking so many of these buildings, taking out the Marines and the Medivacs alike. But at the same time, at the bottom of the map, we have once again the deny of the 4th base of Curious. He cancels the hatchery. Wow, GanZi just doing a good job at... I mean, the Zergler is not able to get a 4th base. That's horrible if you're Zerg.
It's completely horrible, but at the same time, these Mutalisks are actually wrecking havoc in his main. GanZi just has no answer for this. I assumed that he was going to come back and clean it up, but he doesn't want to take his Thors and his main army back to his main because then he'll lose his 4th, which is mining, which is actually almost more important than his main right now. But these Mutalisks are just going completely unchecked.
And the thing is, he's losing all his production capabilities. He's losing every single upgrade, and he's losing the factory now as well. There we go. Finally, the Marines trying to repel that. And yep, the factory dies nonetheless. So, Curious taking out nearly all the production capabilities that his opponent has. Needs to be paying attention to his Mutalist. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was a close one.
Also, actually severely supply blocking GanZi by taking out 6 to 10 supply depots in his main. He's going to get a free tank here on his way flying around the map. And oh, possibly a free orbital. It's actually very badly damaged already. It looks like he's going to target it down. And the 3rd base of GanZi goes down without a fight.
But there's still one thing that we really have to mention. Furious is about to be mined out. There's only one mining base. He doesn't have too many minerals left. He's in desperate need of that 4th base. And I don't think that GanZi will allow him to expand.
He finally killed that Marine at the left side of the base. Curious actually at 2 or 3 points in the game has sent a drone up to build a hatchery at that left side, the 9 o'clock base. And the drone has just wandered in there and died to a Marine with no hit points. So he finally cleans that up in order to try and take that spot. But now GanZi's going to know he's going after that spot. Mutalisks are running around. And again, they just don't have the upgrades to fight these Marines. Oh, barely getting out there.
And time is working in GanZi's favor. He just needs to deny that 4th base to the Zerg player over and over again. That all he needs to do. He's pulling ahead in supply by a fair amount. He's on 174 right now against 135. And there is no mining. There is no mining whatsoever for Curious right now. He is trying to go for some kind of a base trade situation, but that's not going to work out at all. I think we are going to see GanZi taking the 3rd game. Curious fought bravely, but without mining, this is going to be too tough.
Yeah, GanZi is getting near to max, actually losing some units now, but again, Curious without the higher upgrades. Oh, those Marines. See, exactly. He needs to not engage those Marines. Without the upgrades, those Marines are 3-3, I believe, and he just cannot engage with his Mutalisks. He needs to run away. And GanZi doesn't care. He's like, I don't care. Kill my 3rd, kill my main. I'm just going to kill you.
Exactly, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Another command center being built. The Marines are on 3 attack upgrade and 2 armor, by the way.
Okay, only 2 armor.
Yep, I'm in a fortunate situation that I can actually check that Moltab had to take the monitor today, so yeah, therefore he didn't know about the upgrade.
Oh no, the drones.
Yeah, the drones now fighting as well. 2 additional command centers being built. Yeah, the Bailings, the last final attempt. The last final attempt of Furies to win that game. 100 supply against 141 in army supply. We have GanZi doubling the supply of his opponent. 93 against 45. This is looking really grim. I mean, Curious fighting like a lion, a relentless swarm of attacks towards the 3rd base of his opponent, but GanZi is able to deny that 4th base over and over and over again, and this will probably win him this game.
Yeah, that's pretty much been the story of this game. Oh no, the Muta's going in for an attack, taking some major damage, but he does clean up a few tanks over here on the side.
And the 9 Mutalisks are everything there's left for the Zerg player. There's nothing else. And there's the GG. 9 Mutalisks just can't match 56 Marines. That's not possible at all.
Not at all. So, Slayers, GanZi, barely taking the win. Well, I say barely, but man, he stopped Curious from mining from a 4th for 30 minutes solid. That is a feat. Indeed, so GanZi with the well-fought, well-deserved win, holding off all the harassment that Curious threw at him, and at the same time, scouting constantly, putting Marine at every base around the map to make sure that if there was ever a 4th going up, he could stomp it down. Very nicely played.
I would love that to be a best of 5. I would really love that to be a best of 5. Those 2 players, they are just insane. I have actually never seen a tournament player being able in an... I mean, that was kind of an even match. They were on even supply most of the time, and they had a couple of huge fights. And I've never seen a tournament player in an even match to deny that 4th base for so many times. I mean, Curious, he was trying to expand at the left, at the bottom, in the middle of the map, anywhere. But it didn't work out. GanZi just on top of his game.
Yeah, he must have plunged down 10 hatcheries at different locations at least, and 7 of them got canceled and 3 of them got killed outright, but he was just never able to mine from that 4th base. And you're right, he was just all over the place. He was, but so was GanZi. Like I said, he was scouting all around, sending the medevacs all around with Marines in it to kill off extra bases in the mid-game, that kind of thing. So
yeah, certainly don't want to lessen the win of GanZi. He had an amazing effort, and he dropped relentlessly. I mean, Curious was able to deal with most of the drops, but as soon as those 4s popped out, the Mutalisks weren't able to focus down the tanks anymore and not able to take out small amount of Marines. And yeah, I still think that GanZi would have been in a lot better position if he would have just invested into 2 or 3 additional towers at his 3rd base.
Yeah, I think so as well. He didn't have really any turrets the entire game. He was just depending on Marines for the most part. I mean, he had a few turrets, but I think you're right about that. I mean, he lost every building in his main base, so obviously the Mutalisks were somewhat of a problem for him. But well fought, well-deserved win by GanZi. We're going to move on pretty quickly here into our next match, which is going to be Nest T versus Bong Bong Prime. And we're going to take a 5-minute break first, though, so we'll be back in just a few. Come watch the Master of Zerg versus Zerg play his art in just a few minutes.